Hey everyone, this is ScrapComputer. This is going to cover one of Riot's newest announcements on the /remake system, the pros, cons, generally how it works, and what the hell it even is. What is this /remake system? So we've all had 4v5s before. In the past there was nothing you could really do about it. Now with the new post, which I'll drop a link to in the video description, you can actually be brought back to the lobby with no loss in ranked or normals, which of course extends to no loss in LP or of course any promos. How does it work? There are rules to this. Number 1, if a player is DC'd or flagged AFK for at least 90 seconds at the 3-minute mark, only then can you /remake can be called. This is to ensure that the person is indeed AFK or was indeed AFK for at least the start of the game, so it's not going to be abused too easily. Number 2, no first blood. If one of your team died during this time, you also can invoke Remake. This is to ensure no one who basically gets first blood can reset the game just in case. This means that basically it won't be abusable. I will cover this later on. A note to this, executes from the turret or monsters do not count as a death timer, only PvP kills actually count for this. Number 3, all players in that team have 1 minute to prompt the vote by basically typing in /remake. So essentially you put 60 seconds after the 3-minute mark. This means that you don't have all day to see how the game's going before you remake it. Say in a 4v5, I don't think this will be too difficult to do and it should be a general consensus. Number 4, the vote needs at least 2 of 4 players, 30% of the remaining game to agree, at which point the game ends. This shouldn't be a problem in a 4v5. Number 5, all players connected to the game basically pretend the game never happened, gaining or losing no LP, IP, promos or even XP, and seeing no change to their overall win or loss records. Basically, it's as if you've never played. Finally, we're not going to get punished for a player leaving. Number 6, a DC player or players take full LP loss and or drop out of promo games. They're also flagged by the lever buster, meaning they're automatically reported. This is music to my ears. This basically means the system is a lot less abusable because that person who leaves is immediately getting hit by lever buster and they're going to lose the IP, they're going to lose LP, they're going to lose experience, they lose absolutely everything they were meant to lose, which of course is pretty important. This means that if someone tries to abuse the system, they're going to get banned out as if they were just AFK in games in general for their teammates, and that's not going to work too well. Number 7, lastly, Diamond 5 and above players will also take a loss when the DC player is in their Premade. This is a pretty weird rule. I will cover this a little bit later. Basically, if you're in Diamonds and the person leaves, if you're in duo with them, you also take the loss as well, which is not something anyone particularly wants to do, and this is probably going to force games at that level to continue onward because they're not going to want to surrender that one. Changes and thoughts. I'm going to cover a couple of the previous points with a few issues that could be adapted. First blood. Now this is a good rule. It means that you can't abuse the system. I've seen a few people complain about this one, but if you're in a game and you got first blood on your enemy and they basically reset the game, how would you feel? I don't think you'd feel very good. The only problem with this is that people may play far too safe when someone is AFK for around 2 minutes, but overall it's still a good rule to ensure people don't want to reset the game on a bad one. So if you lose the first blood start game, you're not going to reset just to make sure you don't have to deal with that again. And notice I wanted to finally add the first blood is only for your team. I don't know if it's only for your team or if it just in general whoever gets first blood. I don't like it if it's just for the enemy team or in general. If first blood is taken overall as a general consensus, this could lead to a lot of issues. I'm assuming that it's only for when your team give up first blood where you can't remake. If it's that a general first blood is taken, it means that basically if you get a kill in a 4v5, you no longer can reset your own game. And in my opinion, I don't think this should happen. I think if you get the first blood or the first kill, it shouldn't really reset it. It means that you'll be playing way too past the start game, even if you get yourself a pickup, which is really poor. And overall, if you get a 4v5 and you got first blood, even if it's 45, you're probably still going to surrender anyway. Diamond 5 rule. The rule where only Diamonds players are going to take a loss with their Premades is, in my opinion, a wee bit silly. I'm not entirely sure why they're doing it. In Diamond, as with Plat, Gold, and Silver, even Bronze, when playing with your friends, you're rarely going to take a loss for them, and especially at Diamond Elo, if you're banned out for a few days, you're going to lose a lot of LP and a lot of general sets. I don't think that's generally pretty much worth it. It's just League of Legends at a higher tier. The players are pretty much the same. I assume like at medium to higher level play, compositions are really heavily important, and I understand that, and I understand it would be a little bit more severe at that level to basically drop out of a game because it's maybe a bit unfair. But in saying that, you have to be very conscious of this. Even at that level, no one really wants to get banned out for their friends. It doesn't matter if you're Diamond or Gold, you're just not going to want to lose a game for your mate. It's just not going to happen, in my opinion. So I feel like they're just kind of punishing the Diamonds a little bit too heavily. Now, either put it for the Diamonds or put it for everyone. In my opinion, putting the middle ground in there isn't great. overall, because the diamonds aren't really going to abuse it regardless anyway, in my opinion. Like, having a bad comp with diamond can make or break a game, I understand that, but at the end of the day, you can only abuse this 2 to 3 times and then you'd be banned, which isn't good. No diamond player, in my opinion, is going to do that on a frequent basis. Pros. We have less AFKers. Of course, this will put people off AFKing a little bit more. It'll force activity at the start of the game as well. Less 4v5s. As mentioned before, less AFKers means less 4v5s, and that basically means a little bit more fair games. Less AFKers is going to be great. We all hate those 4v5 losses. Thankfully, this should minimize them a bit. No loss. Now, this has been pretty much the most important pro. And overall, we've all played the 4v5s. When you lose them, it's a gut-wrenching feeling. Nobody likes that. It feels pretty horrible. You look and you go, oh god, it's not fair. It's 4v5. What the hell? Oh, what's going to happen here? I didn't deserve to lose this because someone else left. Thankfully, no, you're actually not going to lose anything for this, assuming you play at moderately safe start game, which means that 4v5s should be a thing of the past, beyond the odd game you accidentally give up first blood. Cons. Less excuses. When you lose, you have pretty much nothing to really say anymore. You know, losing a 4v5 is just one less thing to complain about while you're in. Insert elo here. Pretty true, pretty true. Trolls. Yes, a troll can give up first blood to screw over the remake, but it only hurts them as well as your teammates, so I think it's going to be pretty rare to happen. But more scarily, a little bit more frighteningly, I feel that if the enemy team also give up first blood just to cost you, if they basically find out that, assuming the system works this way, imagine they find out that you've got an AFK. They could give up first blood to make sure they get a 4v5 free win. This is going to be a huge mistake. This is the reason why I mentioned this previously, earlier on. Basically, as soon as they know, if they give up a first kill and you get first blood, does that mean you can't remake anymore? I don't know if it's for allied or enemy first blood, or both, but basically, depending upon that, that's going to be a really abusable fact. You'll never be able to tell your enemy you have an AFK ever, or they'll just give up first blood to someone who's unaware, really, or just turret dive really stupid, and you get first blood, but then they get the 4v5 free victory, which, of course, no one wants to see. Abusing it with Premades. In a bad comp when your friends are going into promos, you may consider taking one for the team, or if you've got a troll and champion select, this might be another thing your teammates should say, here, can you AFK for me please, just let us reset this game. We have to remember, lever busters are going to get them smacked pretty heavily. They'll get a huge ban. If you do this over 2 to 3, 4 times, you're just going to get banned for weeks and weeks, and I don't see a friend doing that very often, maybe once, possibly twice ever, but I think for them, I wouldn't do it for any of my friends. We play pretty fair, you know. If someone AFK is horrible, but at the end of the day, I don't think you do it very often. Even good friends, I don't feel a need to do that. They have to gain the elo themselves, not for me leaving a game to help them out. This could be abused slightly. I don't think it's going to be abused too heavily, though. I've made a video on this previously about a lever buster in my Prove the League series, but overall, honestly, I really don't think it's too much of an issue. Error message and problems logging in. So this is actually the biggest problem in my opinion. We've all had connection issues before. It's pretty rare, but at the end of the day, it happens once every 50, 100 games. You know, you get a bug splat. It just happens, you know, it happens. Which is weeks worth of playing for most players, but at the end of the day, we all have problems connecting, or have at some point in our league careers, I should say. In these rare games, you can take, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes getting in. Sometimes, you know, it's pretty rare, but it does happen. This means that rather than me coming back a few minutes late, I get an immediate loss and I'm going to hit lever buster just for a, you know, one bug spot that took me out for a few minutes. For those who have connection issues every 30 or so games, it's really hurt them, and they end up losing a lot of games. Now, in saying that, I know a lot of these guys are going to say, well, you shouldn't be playing if you have error messages. Well, you shouldn't be, but if you get them pretty rarely, every, you know, 50 odd games, I think you should still be able to play League, and this is really going to hurt those players. Now, it doesn't seem too bad, but over a long period of time, it's going to be really harsh, I think. Really harsh. I'm a little bit scared of this one. A lot of people are just going to get a bug splat and immediately get a loss. I don't know what's going to happen there, but of course, to get the system implied, we're going to have to crack a few eggs to make ourselves that almond. And that's it for the video, guys. Overall, I think this is an absolutely fantastic change. I was so happy to see this, I had to make a video on it, just to basically scream to the heavens, I should say. I'm really looking forward to this. It's taken us about 6 seasons to get Riot to finally do this, but I'm really happy they're finally getting up there and really stepping up to the plate to try and get themselves a little bit more of a better community. No more 4v5s. It's one of the most irritating things in the league was AFKers and trolls, and thankfully they're nullifying the basic former of that. I'm really happy, guys. I'm really hoping this is implemented soon. It's going to be implemented first on the NA servers and finally it's going to be steamrolled out to all of the rest of them. It may be tweaked here and there, but the whole core concept is absolutely fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to see it. And that's it, guys. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. If you like the content, you can subscribe. And if you think it's horrible and it's garbage, you can unsub. I am totally fair. If you think it's really good quality and you think other people need to know, you can share it. I'd really appreciate it. I also stream at Twitch TV, guys. The link will be in the low bar. Beyond that, after me selling out my soul, have a great day, best luck on the Rift, and I'll see you guys next time.